Attention men, here's an important new podcast you need to be listening to.
So this whole issue about prostate and prostate health and all the challenges that we're having with it, but no one's talking. So that's the reason why I started this podcast, so we can talk, so we can get understanding. I understand I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical individual. I'm just an ordinary, normal guy who had some issues to say, hey, let's talk about this thing.
P is for Prostate with Odell Cleveland. Download anytime where you get your podcasts. And join for the full podcast at www.patreon.com/Odell Cleveland.
Coming up in this episode of Finding Common Ground.
So promises. Well, would you put in a promise from former President-elect Donald Trump? But let's give him his props.
Or any politician for that matter.
Nah, but Trump is different though. Trump is not like any other politician I've ever witnessed.
Means something. I think he's an old school scorekeeper. He's keeping score. He's keeping receipts.
So?
I think Trump keeps receipts.
You think so?
100%.
So if he keep receipts, Ukraine. It was nice knowing you, Ukraine.
There are two sides to every coin.
How do we deal with racial issues when they affect relationships?
Finding common ground on all those issues that we come against.
There's black and there's white.
And I think as Christians, we have to learn how to get together because we're not in heaven.
I've met more interesting people just by God just bringing them in.
Republicans and Democrats.
But a lot of times when it comes to race and it comes to culture and it comes to perception, even as Christians, we don't always understand. We look at it through our lenses.
There's Bill.
I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland called Parma.
Any black people in Parma?
There was not one.
Not one black person,
Not
Bill?
one.
Come on,
Not
Bill,
one.
you got to have one. A
Nope.
token black person? A token?
And there's Odell.
I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, public housing, single mom, divorced single mom of 4 kids, and I came up through segregation and all that kind of stuff.
If a black person drove through the town, the police would stop and escort them out.
Bill and Odell are finding common ground.
A part of what we have to do is listen to each other, find the common ground, and question, not questioning you like you're on a witness stand, but questioning you for better understanding. Father God, we come to you saying thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for this great country that we live in, that we called America. God, we're not perfect, but we just thank you for continuing to bless and cover us. God, thank you for allowing us to get through a national election, and everyone's pointing to a peaceful transition of power. God, we just thank you for democracy. We thank you for allowing us to live in such a great country. In Jesus' name, in God we trust. Amen.
Hey, Heavenly Father, just thank you for a great election time and the people that volunteered and the endorsements and the fundraising that we had. It was wonderful. Thank you for the outcome. We accept it. The people have spoken, and we move on from here and take a break and decide what door you're going to open next. Amen.
Bill. I heard that we went back and got our ace relief pitcher. We went back and got the man, the myth, the legend himself. Bill, did we go back and get him, Bill, or did we go back and get him?
We got him.
We got him. Kelly, how you doing?
Not doing too bad. How are you guys? It's been a while.
It's been a while. Kelly, guess what? Since the last time you were here, we had an election. I don't know if you heard about it, but Kelly, let me tell you about the election. I was minding my own business, the good-looking black man from the dark roads of South Carolina, and a big red wave hit me, Kelly. Yes, it did. It didn't ask my permission. The big red wave hit me and knocked me down like in the beach, and it started pulling me back. I had to grab my shorts because the wave was going to pull my shorts off, Kelly.
Well, you know, it's funny because maybe that's the wave that they thought they were going to get in 2022. Remember, that was the big talk, was the midterms.
Yes.
The wave that never really materialized. I guess it was just sitting outside outside waiting to brew, because it sure did break.
It broke, and I talked to my good buddy Mark Walker yesterday. I was traveling, going out of town, handling some business. I said, Mark, did you really know it? He said, no. We had no idea. We had no idea the wave would hit that hard. So here I am, getting back on my feet because the wave knocked me off my feet, getting back on my feet, trying to hold on to my swim shorts, trying to get the salt water out of my eyes so the tears don't flow.
The sand in the crotch.
The sand in the crotch. I mean, the wave did me wrong.
I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Okay.
I saw it. Totally saw it.
All right, well, go ahead, Bill. You saw it. What did you see, sir?
Trump coming down on a golden elevator.
Okay. So, speaking of former president, what do we call him now? He's waiting to be president-elect, 45 and 47, Donald Trump. And then we'll talk about Trump. We want to talk about the governor's race, but also want to talk about all politics and local, want to talk about Bill's race. But let me tell you what happened today. I was in my corporate headquarters, Panera Bread on Lawndale, if you forgot. And all my good old buddies, all my good Republican buddies, they looked and they smiled and said, Odell, we're glad to see you. And I strutted right over to their table, and I'm glad to see you too. They said, we didn't think you were coming back. And then we're waiting for the big kahuna to come, and the big kahuna came in. He said, Odell, with the smirk on his face. I said, uh-huh. He said, yeah, I'm glad to see you. And we talked about the election, but he said something, Bill. He said something, Kelly. That was very interesting. He said, it was the migration and the fact that, Black people, you all are 13% of the population. And, you have to be careful because you're not the minority and people coming in taking my, and I said, big kahuna, because I won't mention his name. I said, that's not the problem. Because if every Black person in America votes one way and every white person in America votes another way, we don't have a chance. But he said, no, but not a minority. And I thought in my head what former President-elect Trump said about Black jobs. And I said, kahuna! Because he said 13%. I said, that's not the percentage you need to worry about. You need to be concerned about the percentage of white people and how that percentage is shrinking in America. We call it the browning of America. And he looked at me, Bill. He looked at me, Kelly. He looked at me, Odell, like a deer with headlights. And I said, do you know that percentage? He said, no, I don't know that percentage. I said, but you know the percentage of Black folk. You're concerned about Black folk in the population. Look at the percentages of brown people coming in. And I think that might be a concern for white folks.
Well, isn't it like in 2035 or 2036 when it'll officially flip that
we'll be
the minority will be, or the majority will become the minority?
Yes.
How does white people feel about that?
Well, I guess I'm contributing to it because my wife is a minority. So my kids represent that half brown mix of the country. I'm sure there's people out there that it keeps them up at night, and then there's others that just live their lives. I mean,
well, the white people have been minority here before. When they landed here, there were Indians, not many white people.
How did that work out for the Indians?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they got casinos now.
I'm not going to touch that. Hey, Bill is tired from the election when he said that.
Bill does not have to worry about alienating anybody. He's already pissed off all the Republicans. Now he can go after everybody. Everybody is back on the table.
Yeah.
But think about it, though. We started Bill's race with a Republican on the school board seat. He got elected to county commissioners, correct?
Who?
The
gentleman. Yeah, he went to county commissioner.
And it was a
open seat.
It was an open seat, a Republican open seat. So the Democrat folks who were in charge says, by law, the Guilford County Republican Party had the right to put someone in that seat, correct?
Correct.
So they said they're going to put one person in, and people said no. Then they said we're going to do a 3-person vote, and they said no. Then it's like, well, we got Goebel in, all Republicans, they said no. And then we had a fight. We fought. And on election night, I think, I might have it wrong, but I think now the Republican seat that was guaranteed and no problem, I think a Democrat is sitting in the seat, and I'm a Democrat, but I'm like, how in the blank did that happen? Who's in charge of the Guilford County Republican Party? How do you lose a seat that was given to you, Goebel? How do you lose a seat that was given to you?
You need to ask the big kahuna.
Yeah, and the big kahuna we trust. I think that the thing that's really interesting about it is I never saw, and obviously I had a vested interest in studying this election, given that our friend Bill was running. I never really saw a platform from the other two guys. I saw a platform from Bill it made perfect sense to me. I mean, some of his ideas were very revolutionary. I mean, I thought the endowment idea was spectacular. I never saw an idea from either one of the other candidates. I just think that they rested on the D or the R next to their name, and they thought that was going to do the heavy lifting for them. And I think that this county lost a very good chance to do something in electing an independent. I think, this is maybe a little foreshadowing about what we're going to talk about as we get further into the conversation. But I think if there was ever a need for a strong third party, that time is now. It absolutely is now.
Amen.
Because I think that the extremes of both parties are really driving the messages. And I think that there's a whole group of people like myself that sit firmly in the middle, comfortably in the middle. And I'll take all the heat from all the people in the world by saying that I don't take a stance. But I think that there is a huge amount of the population that sits firmly in the area of the theme of this podcast, which is common ground and common sense. Where's the common sense,
Bill?
Where Big Kahuna needs to tell us about the common sense.
Bill, if I was writing a book about this Guilford County school board seat for District 3. Now, has it been a year since all this started, or Guilford County
About a year and a half.
has found in a year and a half how to lose a seat?
Yep.
What would be the title of my book?
Loser, loser, loser.
Wow. Loser, loser, loser. And the gentleman who represents my party, a Democrat, I thought was the least qualified of all.
No message. It's exactly my point. What was the message besides the D behind his name? There was nothing.
And he sat there and loser, 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 fumbles the ball, and the ball lands in his lap. What was the percentages, Bill? What was the percentages, Kelly? What was the percentages?
I think it was 45 for the Democrat, 42 for the Republican, and then I had the rest.
I told this to Bill while we were standing outside enjoying what a lovely day it is outside, by the way. I told him, I'm sure that there's not many silver linings, especially only, we're not even 24 hours post election, but at least the silver lining is the guy who wouldn't even say your name, the guy who wouldn't even shake your hand. At least he's sitting at home licking his wounds too.
Yeah, he's not picking up his signs too. I can tell you that.
No, he can go back to teaching in the crappy school districts that he's going to have to live with.
They wouldn't hire him. They wouldn't hire him.
Well,
yeah, he, they ran a very controversial campaign. My word, ugly. When I was at the polls, his wife I'd walk by because I'll give you an example. We were at the polls and I put 7.5 miles walking back and forth in one day.
7.5 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
I noticed Bill was looking pretty fit.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
Yeah, feeling good. And I actually put over 48 miles on another polling place in 5 days.
Wow.
And every time I would walk by her, she would say, liar, cheater. And then if I crossed you're not allowed to cross a particular line in campaign.
Right.
But I would walk across it, not campaigning, to get to the other side. And when I did, she'd holler, citizens arrest every time.
Was this middle school? What are we talking about here?
I'll tell you, it was unbelievable. And there was a campaigner for a pretty radical women's group that wants to ban books and all that. And her and I had a decent conversation. Her lady is the chairman of it, just was nasty as heck with me. And But this lady was reasonable. I said, can you help me understand why she's calling me these names when I'm not doing even acknowledging her? I'm just trying to get a vote.
Uh-huh.
And the lady just shook her head. And I had that a couple times where there was a poll worker and they would be sitting and they'd come at me and I'd look over at the poll worker and they're sitting down and their eyes are like this. Eyes are all bug-eyed and shaking their head. And what I did is I just took the high road. I did find out something.
What did you find out, Goble? What did you find out? Say it ain't so, Bill. Say it ain't so.
He was really agitated on the fact that I put Eagle Scout on my materials and that
you are Eagle Scout.
You earned that.
Yeah. And I wore a shirt with a fleur-de-lis. It doesn't say Boy Scouts, just a fleur-de-lis. But if you're a scouter, you know it. And I'd wear a hat that had a fleur-de-lis.
Uh-huh.
And he says, you can't do that. That's a nonprofit. You can't do that. So I said, well, Michael, were you in scouting? He goes, I was. I said, well, how far did you go?
Cub Scout.
Life.
Oh, come on now. Come on, Kelly. Why you call a man a Cub Scout?
Well, he went to life.
Okay. Someone who I don't know scouting like that. I know about a Cub Scout. What does life mean?
I know I made it to Wolf. I think that was number 2.
We couldn't afford.
I'm a Boy Scout reject.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, here's how it works. In scouting, you start out as a tenderfoot, then you go second class, first class, then a Star Scout. That's when you're getting your merit badges and working towards.
So no more Bear, Wolf, whatever.
That's Cub Scouts.
Oh, see, so I didn't even make it out of Cub Scouts.
You didn't even get to tenderfoot.
Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't even get to tenderfoot.
Oh.
But so you do Star Scout and then Life Scout, and Life Scout is just below Eagle.
Okay.
And people that end up just becoming a Life Scout, we say they remember that for the rest of their life that they didn't make Eagle.
Okay.
And if you talk to people that got close that didn't make it, it's one of their biggest regrets they ever had.
Oh, so you're making that point to make what point, sir?
He's a Life Scout.
Gotcha.
And I told him, I said,
amateur.
And when he started giving me a lot of static, I looked at him, I said, you couldn't even finish scouting right and become an Eagle? You're a quitter. You're a loser. And it really energized him. But it's,
I think it would energize me too if you told me I was a quitter and a loser.
He stopped harassing me because I started calling him, hey, lifer.
Oh, wow.
Hey, lifer.
I think what we should do is we should just throw down. Let's just put all this aside. Now it's over. Let's get in the boxing ring and go at it.
No.
I'm putting my money on you, Goble. Especially this slim, trim, fit Goble.
I'm 20 years older than him.
No. We're turning the corner, turning the page. We're going to talk about something.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the future.
We're going to talk about the title.
Think of the money you could raise.
The title.
Boy Scouts.
Or fundraiser for the kids.
Oh, you know what? Trump did a WWF.
They brought me back.
Yeah,
they brought me back.
Hey, didn't Trump do WWF wrestling or something?
I'll have Odell be my coach and you be the ref.
No. Odell is not getting involved in 2 Republicans wrestling, wrestling.
Tell you what, we'll have Chris Meadows be the ref.
Oh my God. Let's keep going. But the question is, how do you lose a guaranteed seat?
That's tough to do.
So what's the makeup now? The makeup on the school board is what?
There's 9 people.
Yes.
7 Democrat, 2 Republicans. They lost a seat.
How do you lose a seat? How do you lose a seat that was given to you?
Did you ask that?
I think Kamala Harris is asking herself that question today. Ooh, ironically enough.
Ow, ooch, ow,
yeah.
Ooh, ow, ow, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, but
ow,
I'll tell you, our state did really well. They got rid of all the Magna guys. There wasn't one that won.
Okay, whoa. I haven't been keeping up with it because I had salt water from the big red waves in my eyes. So I talked to my good friend, former Congressman Mark Walker.
Yeah, what is he?
Did he run for anything?
He didn't run for anything. He didn't run from anything and didn't run away from anything. He is in the process of watching the transition team, and I think, without being able to say, that he's going to end up in a very, 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 very high senior advisory position, or something even more important than that. He's going to be a major player in the Trump administration.
That's good because, I mean, he was feeling some fallout of not being in one of Trump's guys. So maybe payback is real.
But it's all based on former President-elect Trump's promises. So promises. Well, how much would you put in a promise from former President-elect Donald Trump? But let's give him his
or
props,
any
though.
politician for that matter.
Nah, but Trump is different though. Trump is not like any other politician
I think
I've ever
loyalty
witnessed.
means something. I think he's an old school scorekeeper. He's keeping score. He's keeping
think
receipts.
so? You think so?
I think Trump keeps receipts.
You think so?
100%.
So if he keep receipts, Ukraine. It was nice knowing you, Ukraine. It was nice knowing you, Bill. Hold on to the Ukraine flag that you went over there taking care of the kids, because I believe if the former president, the current president-elect take receipts, Ukraine. Better look out, buddy. You better look out.
I think the world better watch out. I mean, if you've noticed, like it feels like the axis of evil with Putin and but basically you have North Korea, China,
Iran.
I mean, it's like the axis of evil. They're kind of like
I said Trump and Putin buddy boys.
I think there's some mutual respect.
Okay, well, we'll call it mutual respect. But Goebel,
Yes.
do the Republicans in the state of North Carolina still have a supermajority?
No. By one, they don't.
That happened the last time.
Yeah, so
That happened the last
And then,
time.
didn't somebody switch? Like they got elected as.
Somebody switched. Yeah, she
So
switched.
are we waiting for the switch?
Debate and switch.
It's gonna happen any minute.
Because Tim Moore, Speaker of House Moore, he's a congressman now, right?
Yes, he made it to Congress, and Rachel Hunt became lieutenant governor. Josh Stein became governor.
And Mark Robinson goes wherever he goes. Just go away.
Whoa. Let me tell you about Mark Robinson. I was at my corporate headquarters today on Panera Bread, and the good old white Republicans who were there, who was giving me a hard time. I said Mark Robinson, and everything got quiet. They're like, "Why are you talking about him?" I'm like, "But he was your boy. He was your guy. He was your guy." And they're like, "Not anymore." Just like that.
Wow.
Just like that.
Wow.
It's just like that. It's like, nah. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Maybe come. He said, nope, his career is over. His career
Maybe you
is
should
over.
get back into child
You know
care.
something? I probably should go talk to him because they told me my Republican career is over too.
Oh, man.
I don't think your skeletons are that deep.
No.
Do y'all do Republicans just throw people away, Bill?
I don't know. I think Kamala's flame is just about gonna be gone.
Yeah, Kamala took a hit.
I saw her yesterday. I saw her walk with her husband off in it was like a little foreshadowing, like her walking off into the sunset.
Yeah.
It definitely had that feel to it.
Well, how about should a book be How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Well, Trump tapped into I was listening to some of the news reports, and he tapped into the dissatisfaction with the handling of immigration, the economy. And he brought out voters that support him. You know, when I was out in Stokesdale and Summerfield, these Trumpers were coming in like crazy.
Is he gonna go to jail, Bill? Will he go to jail?
No, he's got a get out of jail free pass from Monopoly.
So is anyone above the law in America or below the law? Because that's what my good friend Congressman Mark Walker told me years ago when I was saying no Trump and no Biden for 2024. And I was saying how Trump did this. He said, no. And I said, he's not above the law. He said, no, but he's not below the law either. And I'm like, okay. Kelly, shed some light on this story, please.
You know, I'm not a Trump guy, but I think you could say that some of these charges were politically motivated. And so, did he do bad things? Of course. Did he do things that were illegal? Probably. Did he do things that other business people do every day?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were very politically motivated.
Wait a minute. Now, Kelly, you are a multi-millionaire business person. Is this time you're going to confess? Are you going to confess something?
No,
that business people do every day. Not you, Kelly. Say it ain't so, Kelly. Say it ain't so.
Well, I mean, one of his charges was he falsified documents because he valued properties at a higher valuation. I think a lot of people do that every single day.
Oh yeah.
They do that in order to maximize their borrowing, right?
Yeah.
It's a business trick, I guess, but it's a trick that wealthy people play. And, you know,
But you said it right. What did you say? The trick that what kind of people play?
wealthy people, 100%.
And part of it is,
But remember, this is my favorite Dave Chappelle. You know, I'm going to bring Dave Chappelle into the room. Dave Chappelle was talking about the debate back in 2015 when Trump was debating Hillary, and he brought up it was on, you don't pay your taxes. And he says, of course not, because I don't have to. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And it was like, and even Chappelle was like, it was at that moment I knew what we were facing. He said, because I take advantage of a tax code that allows me to do it. I didn't break the law. I took advantage of something that
hired
allows me to do
smart
it.
lawyers and accountants.
I have smart accountants. I have smart lawyers. And so
No. They had Trump in Georgia, and what happened to Fannie?
well, she decided to have a relations with
The prosecutor.
the prosecutor. I think
Could be a little conflict. of
you know,
interest.
there is a little conflict of interest, or you could say she screwed the pooch.
Oh, say it ain't so, Kelly. Say it ain't so.
Hey, listen,
What
you
happened
you
to-
knew when you asked me to come what you were getting.
What happened to Trump in Florida? That's Georgia.
Oh,
The big
man.
red wave, the swing state. What happened in Florida?
Well,
He never saw. What did the judge say?
well, they kicked the can, right?
Yeah. Yep. All those suits are going away.
They're going away.
So the special prosecutor who had him in
He
count.
ain't special anymore. He ain't special anymore.
So Trump is like, listen, you are Odell. So Trump called me and said, Odell, the problem is this: you don't understand how this country works.
I think
Pretty
that's
much.
very, very well put.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's never fun to be put in your place, but sometimes there's a eureka moment, and that might have been
Yep.
one of them.
Yeah. Yep. You know, as I reflect on the campaign that we did.
Which one? Which campaign? Yours?
Yeah, mine.
Okay.
I went in this not knowing what to do.
Okay.
I remember the first time I went out to get a signature just to get my name on the ballot. I'm thinking, I walked down the street from here. It was in the winter, and it's the most lonely thing I ever felt.
Wow.
I had material. It was falling out of my hands. I had a pen and the signature sheet, and that was flying in the wind. It was cold. And I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm going to knock on a stranger's door. And I know how that is when somebody knocks on your door.
I think that's worse than a telephone call. At least they just hang up.
Yeah.
Well, at least the dogs started barking. You can hear the dogs on the other end.
Yeah. And, but as I did it more and more, it became more and more rewarding interacting with people. And people were asking me questions like, what happened to the lottery money? I go, that's a good question. I don't know. I was at the polling booth in one of the towns, and this woman, I said, hey, I'm Bill Goebel. Would you consider voting me? I run an unaffiliated, not a D or an R, I'm a K for the kids. And, a little bit about me. And she goes, well, I got a question before I decide. I said, what's that? I'm a social worker at the school. Do you know what we do? And I could have tried to make something up. And I said, no, I'm going to be honest with this lady. No, I don't know what you do. I could guess, but I don't want to guess. And she says, you just lost my vote.
Wow.
And so I said, okay, I'm good with that. But would you spend a minute or two and explain to me what you do? Because I'd like to learn. I don't know everything. And she spent 45 minutes with me explaining, and phenomenal stuff they do. I mean, they're the ones when the kids don't show up for school a couple of times, they go to the home and see if there's an issue. They also, if a teacher suspects that somebody's sleeping in their cars, they go and help because we have 2,500 kids that do that.
Wow.
And they're the ones that really go and get into the weeds. And we got done. She says, I'm voting for you.
But
Oh,
Bill,
that's good.
Bill, you
This thing-
lost the race, and you're still talking about we.
Yeah.
You're still as passionate as
He
you
got
are
into it for the
today.
right reason. That's why I respect
Yeah.
you, Bill.
Thank you.
But Bill, I'm sure that, do you think now that's all over, they're going to allow you, they being the Guilford County GOP, they're going to allow you back in?
If they ask me to come back, there's going to be a lot of eating crow on their side.
Well, let's be serious for a second. You have a lot of equity now. I
Yes.
mean, you're a known commodity.
Yep.
And so, I mean, they'd be stupid not to sit down and have a conversation with you.
You would think so. You
I
don't
mean,
think so?
right. I mean, you don't go through what you've gone. You don't have a national podcast. You don't have, you still got a pretty decent amount of votes. I
Yeah.
mean, the cards were stacked against you as an independent.
Well, as an independent, I didn't realize this, but last night we were at a big event, had about 1,200 people, and the previous mayor of Keith Holiday came up to me and he goes, "I got to tell you, uh, I know you lost." He said, "But do you know what the average unaffiliated percentage is?" I said, "No, but I was planning on getting 52%."
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I know that." He says, "But the average is 1 to 2%,
And you got
12."
in double digits.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So your people may say you split the vote. You're the problem, Gobo. You're the problem.
they've been saying that since I got on the school board. I've been the problem.
Well, I'll go back to my third party statement. I think it's time.
It's time.
100% time.
Totally agree, Kelly. But you look at Ross Perot, a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't get himself elected, even though he had a great message.
But I think that would have changed in today's.
You think so?
Absolutely.
With that kind of money, like if Elon Musk wanted to do it, he could.
Well, I mean, just think of social media. I mean, some of his comments, some of his ideas, there's great social media quips, just 2-second blurbs, but it's common sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we're talking
He
about
was
here.
right. He was right about NAFTA. It was going to be a giant sucking sign taking all the business out, and it's true.
Yeah, but he grossly underestimated how quickly China would rise too.
That's
once
true.
China opened up, that sucking sound wasn't Mexico.
You know, because you have business over there.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. Do you still have business over there?
Not in China.
No.
Not in China.
Yeah, a lot of people have moved out for China. That's one of the problems China has now.
Well, I mean, and that's a big concern for some people is, the potential of Trump tariffs and who he's coming after.
Okay. Help me with this one because I want to talk about a couple of things and I know we have to close. With the Trump promises that he's going to get rid of everyone who came in the country, right?
Foreigners. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get rid of all of them on day one. Get ready, because he's kicking people out of the country. From a very successful, legitimate business owner, do you need labor, sir?
Well, I mean, I don't count on that kind of migrant labor, so doesn't really affect me in my businesses. And my businesses in Mexico are obviously run by Mexicans that are living in Mexico, so there's really no effect there. I think he did a good job. I think Trump did do a good job of convincing people that these migrant laborers were taking jobs away from other Americans and probably driving down the value of their jobs, because you can hire an undocumented immigrant to do a job at a cheaper price than you can a U.S. citizen. So it's artificially driven down wages, and so I mean that's a game changer for the working class.
Do you have a dog or a cat?
I have a dog.
Okay. Do you think that these people will eat your dog?
Oh yeah, that's crazy talk. I mean, but I mean, here's the problem, Odell. And all kidding aside, I mean, I do like to joke, but I think, I think the fact that they tried to turn Trump and JD Vance, into somebody who's weird, I think that worked against them. I really do. I think turning him and Vance into a weirdo, and that was all, that was the repetitive word that you heard. They're weird. They're weird. Mm-hmm. They're weird. I listened to JD Vance talk, and he didn't sound like a weird guy to me. Now, maybe I don't agree with every opinion that he has, and there's a few that I just downright dislike. But if you listen to him talk, he's pretty plain spoken, but very concise, very clear. He drives a message much better than Trump does, and I think he's a force to be reckoned with. I think he may be the face of the Republican Party. I think that the future is bright, and I mean, if I'm Nikki Haley, I'm licking my chops though, because I think that the United States is ready for a woman president. I think a female president. I think the United States is ready for a minority woman president. I think that if I were Nikki Haley, maybe I would be getting together with JD Vance and maybe potentially talking about some kind of coalition to work together.
That's a good point, because Hillary Clinton, no. Nikki Haley, no. Kamala Harris, no. But you made a good point, because when you look at the people, the popular vote, I was talking to my Republican buddies over at Panera Bread. Did I say that's my corporate headquarters? And I said, hey, you all always
They must
told
be
me,
giving you free food.
hey, listen, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. When I stopped eating, that's when they started, talking about free food. When I was eating, they looked the other way. But back to
Shameless Panera Bread.
exactly. But back to what I was saying, I said, hey guys, I know you all don't care about the popular vote. They said, whoa, 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 whoa. We do care about the popular vote. For years, you just telling me the only thing mattered was electoral college. So now I guess the popular vote is a big
Did
thing.
they say anything about all the non-Magna people that are in the state government now that won? Rachel Hahn.
No, they didn't talk about all that. I don't think my
Sure.
guys there are Magna. I think my guys there they're Republicans. And we argue, and over the years, we've gotten to some tough arguments where they got real mad at me and their eyes got big and everything else.
But is it respectful? Is the conversation
Yeah, no, the
respectful?
conversation respectful
Yeah.
because they throw darts and I throw darts too. Like this morning, he's talking about, well, Odell, the immigrants coming in and they're gonna outdo the black people as minorities. And I'm like, you don't care about that. You care about them outdoing you. You're shrinking. The white population shrinking. We get into stuff like that.
Yeah,
And-
but I
and,
mean,
We're used to
to
being a
me, but
minority.
that's good.
all day long.
That's
We're
good
not.
banter, right?
Yeah.
And I wish that type of banter is what we saw more on a national level.
Yeah.
Because I think the media is definitely not pushing a narrative that is so much good banter. I think that they're driving a message that's convenient to them. And I think the media has probably woke up the day after the election pretty happy that Trump was elected, because think of all the material they have for the next four
God.
years.
But
Yeah.
no. I don't think it's going to be the same Trump 2.0 that it was 1.0. I think 1.0, he really didn't understand everything. He was playing with some of the powers and the triggers and some of the leverages of power. 2.0, he's had a time to stew over it and think about it.
Yeah, but he's also impulsive. And so that impulsivity, that comes at a price too. And so the question will be if he can check that. And the question will be, will he surround himself by people that aren't going to tell him what he wants to hear, but rather tell him what he needs to hear? And I think that will be the key. When he starts building a cabinet, if it's just a rehash of 1.0 Trump, then I think that there should be some concern that he's going to fall back into old patterns. If he doesn't, if he does, like you said, and he learns from it, it could be pretty interesting. Because, and I've said this, I think that there's some things that Trump got right in the first election, but the Trump delusional syndrome is alive. Oh my God. I mean, like there's people like ready to,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah. I got
so bad.
calls,
The
spam.
emotional fragility of this country is really scary from a standpoint of just, I can't for the life of me understand. And I know that there's people that feel that his stance on the LGBTQ++ community and immigrants and things like that, like they're emotionally scared that he's going to do something irrational. I get that. But I'm just saying, like, has a president ever changed your life? Have you ever made life decisions based on who's the president of the United States? Are you driven so much by politics that you can't even exist, that you can't find it yourself able to get up out of bed because
all my decisions are based on what my wife's going to think.
Hold on. We need to hear from the only person in the room who ran for office. But let me say one thing, Kelly. You made a good point.
That's a good point.
One thing Mark Walker was telling me yesterday, we were talking, he said, Odell, the ad that made the biggest difference? And I'm like, okay.
Transgender one.
The transgender one.
Yep.
Exactly.
They've spent $30 million on that.
That
every
ad,
football game.
Yes, that ad with Kamala and Charlemagne the God talking about Kamala, transgender people in prison. He said that was the home run. That was the home run. Yep. And I'm like, wow. But Bill, let me ask one other question. Why in the world didn't the sales tax, why was that rejected for the school teachers? Bad messaging or what?
Guilford County taxes are already too high. I mean, I think you're just asking too much of the consumer.
Well, it did. See, they never got the true message. It doesn't cover food, gas, or prescriptions. So it's, if you go out to eat, you're going to pay $5 more or something. But that's it. And most of the money was going to come from people that coming in for Tanger or for the ACC tournament or the furniture market. That's where most of it was going to be funded. But we got to pay our teachers more. Okay. Whether it's a sales tax or we get money from the state, our money back that we're giving them for the teachers, our teachers are so grossly underpaid that they go out and get second jobs. And they're the ones taking care of our kids all day.
You won't get an argument out of me on that.
What are you going to do? What I can feel the passion. I don't feel pity. I'm looking at you. You still as passionate. What are you going to do, Goebel? What are you going to do?
Tonight I'm going to have a bourbon.
Okay. Now you mentioned Bill. You mentioned Chris Meadows joining you after the election for your celebration of your win.
Yeah.
But it appears that you didn't win and Logan didn't win. Are you going to invite Mr. Logan to have a bourbon with you, sir?
Sure. In fact, one of the people that interviewed me for the newspaper, they said, "Are you going to offer reconciliation to Logan?" I said, "I always offer that, an olive branch, or I'm always there to bury the hatchet, and I'm willing to do that." I did say I did regret calling him a name,
A lifer.
yeah, no, I regret calling him a tire changer. I said that was inaccurate.
When did you call him a tire changer?
It made the paper News and Record front page. I said, would you rather have a tire changer person
gotcha.
or a business?
What is
person?
that? What is he in the?
He teaches auto mechanics at the school for 26 years.
Oh,
So I said I really regret saying that. I should have said he was a lug nut.
Oh, come on, Goebel. Come on, Goebel. Come on, Goebel. And y'all sitting there fist bumping each other. Hey, for those on the radio who can't hear, they're sitting here laughing, fist bumping each other. Where's the civility and all that? Where's the civility?
I mean, it's politics. Get over it. I mean, that's really what you should come to expect on me. The nasty. I mean, that's pretty civil, actually.
Yeah,
a lug nut, and very clever at that. But can we come back? I just like, did you wake up the day after the election distraught, like my life is over? I mean, they're gonna.
No. Let me tell you what happened to me.
Yeah,
Good-looking black boy. Let me tell you what happened to the black boy from the dark roads of South Carolina. So we were looking at it, and I was off yesterday because we had to go down to South Carolina and handle some real estate business. So I was off, and we were sitting there looking at it. And about 10 o'clock, I said, "Babe, I'm tired." She said, "I'm tired too," because we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go walking 4.2 miles every day. Look at me, baby. Look at me. It's hard to keep this going. It's hard to be this good looking. It's hard to be this good looking.
Hey, listen, I have a pint of butter pecan ice cream downstairs.
Wait a minute. I need to get some butter pecan ice cream. So we went to bed.
Wesley Snipes, White Men Can't Jump. It's so hard being this pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Look at a lot of Wesley Snipes. What's the comedian Dave Chappelle?
Oh, yeah.
What's this thing, man? What's going on here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Undercover brother.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
So let me finish with my story, then I'll be quiet. Undercover brother. I think I'll be quiet. That's probably not true, but we'll go from there. So I got up around 5 o'clock to use the restroom, right? No, 4 o'clock. And I laid there and I said to myself, "Self, do you want to know what happened?" And Self said, "Of course you do." And I'm like, okay, if I turn on the TV, my wife might get a little, it's like, "What are you doing?" So I felt her moving around. When you sleep with someone, you could tell when they sleeping or when they're kind of up. I said, "Baby, you up?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you mind if I turn on the TV to see who won?" And, she gets tired of politics. She said, "Okay." So I turned on and I saw Trump won. And I said, "Trump won." She said, "What?" And I said, "Trump won." And she said, "Okay, you turn it back off." So, we turned the TV back off. So I felt like I got punched in the gut. I really thought that Kamala was going to win. But also I said, okay, now, Odell, as a leader, how do you conduct yourself? How do you get yourself together? And then I was looking for Bill. I couldn't find Bill, right? I was looking for Bill's race. I couldn't find it. And then something on the bottom kind of went over and I saw Goebel and I said, "Oh my God, Bill lost." And she said, "What?" She was more concerned about Bill losing than Kamala losing. And I'm like, "Bill lost." And she said, "Okay, so the next thing."
Well, the difference is Bill had a clear message. I'm not sure Kamala ever had a clear message.
Okay, well, thank you for Bill being a better campaign than Kamala. So then I started looking and say, okay, if Bill lost, because I caught the tail end, who won? And then
Dun, 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 dun.
dun 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 dun. And then I looked and I saw the guy, I don't even know his name, and I'm a Democrat. He won. I'm like, oh my gosh. They lost the seat. How does and I thought about the Guilford County GOP. I'm like, how does they feel about after all this, they came up losing the seat? That was my thought. And then, of course, I started thinking about my friend. Okay, should I call him, or I'm not going to call him? I wait for him
I
to
felt
call
the same
me.
way. I was like, I
you
wanted to
know,
send you a text, but I was like,
yeah, it's like give him space, give him. Then
But
next
finally,
thing
I had
know,
to.
No, you did.
But,
You guys
but,
I
did
had
good.
to.
but then I saw a post, and he posted something. Bill, can you share with the national audience what did you post? And I'm like, we didn't going down the road, and I saw this post, and I'm
It
like,
was a very
wow.
nice message, very humble.
It came from the heart. And when it does that, it's usually pretty good. So this is what I gave for the press release, and I put on social media. I said, thank you to the voters, the endorsements, the poll workers, and the financial contributors who supported us, meaning Dory and I, for school board. Just shows the power of the political parties. Dory and I are not sad. The people have spoken. Time to move on. Congratulations to David Coates' victory. He has our full support.
Wow. What did your competitors or David Coates, anybody reached out to you?
I reached out to David, sent him a text, and congratulated him.
He said what?
You're waiting for your Christmas present?
Yeah.
Your
And
Christmas card?
he said, I appreciate it. And if there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
Okay.
Which was good. And since the election, well, Coates isn't on social media, so there's nothing there. But since the election, neither Michael Logan or Chris Meadows have posted anything. And they're usually pretty posty.
Pretty posty.
Mm-hmm.
Socially media savvy.
When it's all said and done, Kelly, how do you explain we got in a big fight over something that was ours in the first place, and now somebody who nobody even knew about, I don't even know his name, and I'm a Democrat, is sitting in the seat? What is that called?
There's no answer for it. I mean, I think there's an expression for it. And I think what they tried to tell Bill was stay in your lane. And I think Bill said, I don't have to stay in my lane. And now Bill not staying in his lane cost them an election.
Yep.
And so you want some, get some.
The
Wow.
thing is,
You want some, get some. Okay, I like that.
no, they had the opportunity to say, hey, we know we wanted the other guy in there, but you're a good candidate. We're going to help support you. We'll get him into something else. And if they would have done that, all the things that happened, we would have won.
Yeah,
This is what I don't understand. You checked, at least the Bill that I have always known, you've been a pretty conservative guy.
Mhm.
You check a lot of Republican boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Why weren't you good enough to begin with?
I don't know.
You were sitting in the seat. Now we're going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
And then you took it away from them.
Yeah.
That's another fist.
Wow. Wow. They took it away from you. Ooh, Kelly, that's why you have to be on the show. So you said it took the Guilford County GOP, it took two acts, Odell did not cost, 2 acts from Raleigh-Durham to reach the long arm of the law from Raleigh, John Hardister and others into Guilford County. And it took all that to take the seat from you. And it only took you, one man, to take the seat from them.
They have a big organization.
What say you, Mr. Goebel, the seat taker?
It's very comfortable.
Want some, get some.
Want some, get some. Yeah. So now somebody said, one of the reporters said, are you going to stay independent? Are you going to go Republican? You're going to go Democrat? I've been a Democrat. I've been a Republican. I've been an independent. And people go, well, you can't make up your mind. I said, I don't know if it's that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue is, where do I feel most aligned? Okay. And it's one of the I'll give you an example. When my brother, I was going through all this stuff, and I was on the school board, and changing the law and people coming at me. And my brother was dying of cancer. So we were dealing with, helping him through that and our family. And so my brother passed.
Mhm.
And this is kind of telling. The Democrats called me, texted me, sent letters, condolences, said, if you want to talk about it, we can. I remember one time we were in the conference room having a meeting, and I just got a text about my brother, something had happened, and I just started tearing up. And they stopped the meeting, they all came around me. Not one Republican gave me condolences. That's not being human. That's taking it to the next level. That's unacceptable. So with that as a backdrop, I think my decision is going to be pretty easy. Be a moderate Democrat.
What do they used to call them? Blue dog Democrats? Isn't
Yeah,
that
I
like
think
a
that's
kind of right leaning Democrat?
Well,
A blue,
people
blue
asked me
dog, or
when I was doing the handout at the polling, they said, "No, you're running an affiliate. Where do you lean?" And I said, I have to think about that. So I thought about it for a while, and I said, I'm kind of a Ronald Reagan Republican with a mix of John F. Kennedy.
Mm.
John F. Kennedy was always Camelot, looking to the future. And that's what I like to do. And Reagan was grounded in conservative principles, financial conservative. He eliminated communism in Russia.
But all those leaders, they were very charismatic, and they had a clear, concise message.
Amen.
And I think that that's missing from today's politics.
Absolutely.
So much. It's not based on a clear message, just based on sticking your finger in the wind of the moment. And I just don't think there's a clear future
Yeah.
for that.
I'm not upset that I lost at all. I look at all the things I gained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gained a lot of friends. I've gained an understanding of how to run a campaign, how to finance it.
That's all, like I said before, that's all earned equity, and that's in your pocket now.
Yep.
And the next time somebody thinks, wow, we need to find a candidate, I think that they're going to maybe find time to at least talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be.
Yep.
I think you belong on the city council personally. I think that your ideas for the school board were very revolutionary. And if I were either one of the, or any of the people that are currently sitting, first person I would call would be you. Can we have a cup of coffee? Can we sit down and discuss some of the things that you were proposing on the trail? Because there's some meat here. There's some substance.
Bob O'Neill, Bill O'Neill, who's
Yes.
the reporter, he texted me a couple hours ago. He goes, I hope you don't give up on the endowment idea.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And, it's made me step back. So Dory and I are going to go away for Thanksgiving, and we're going to talk about it. And, we have our Youth in North Carolina nonprofit that we do the summits and doing a bunch of other stuff. And maybe that's a door that's God's opened for me to help build that.
Yes.
And work with the community foundation, the schools, and go out into the community with a team and start working on it. Because that's all about the kids.
So Guilford County School System doesn't have an endowment at all?
Committee. I mean, that could be your.
How small is small?
20 million. And the ones down in Wilmington and Orange County. Here's what I did. I analyzed the funding sources for our schools. We have 3 funding sources, basically federal, state, and local. Each has a different role. Federal does big programs like lunches, school lunches, COVID, and things like that. State's responsibility is teacher pay and benefits. So obviously underfunding that for decades, that's why we have low teacher pay. The county's responsibility are the buildings. In fact, the state gives us the buses, the school buses. We find the drivers.
You still with that we stuff?
Yeah. So, yeah. And so took a look at, I started, a business guy, I analyzed things. So I said, I wonder what our tax is going to, how much of our tax money is going per student from our county, and how does it relate to the 100 counties in the state? Because are we giving too much or too little? And so the average is, and I don't have the exact numbers, but $3,400 is the average for the state going to per student. We do $3,650, so we're doing a little better. And but I noticed 2 of them, 2 counties had $8,000. I'm thinking, how are they giving 5? I know they're not taxing, because if they're taxing, people would be out of that county like crazy. So what do you do when you drive down and meet the superintendent? And I drove down to Wilmington and I met the superintendent, had dinner with him and said, how you doing it? He goes, we have a $1.6 billion endowment. I said, how did you get that money? He said, we sold our hospital for about 900 million, and then we raised the rest.
You need to talk to Mo Green.
Is there a teachers union in North Carolina?
There's an organization, not a union.
You need to go run that.
Yeah.
You need to talk to Mo Green.
Yeah.
You need to talk to Mo Green. Hey, Mo!
Mo Money.
We're going to be talking to you, sir.
Oh, and Odell and I are going to do, Odell, I, and Kelly are going to do a road trip.
Yeah,
coming to see you.
yeah. Mo
coming
coming
to
to
see
see you.
I know one person that will never be running for political office in this room, and that would be me.
Well, two people.
I don't know.
Nah, my wife told me no. She told me no.
discredit.
Unless things change, but she said no, she don't want the family to deal with all that. And I love my wife more than I love
Power more than power.
well,
Yeah, there you go, Kelly.
I love my wife. Yeah, I love my wife.
Ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, I love my wife.
Dory,
You know
Dory,
how that-
do not share this podcast. With
Nah, it's all good. Bam don't listen to the podcast anyway.
Yeah.
No, so it is what
Dory
it
does.
Well,
Okay.
actually, maybe I should reconsider it, because if you can be I guess he's a convicted felon, then you can be anything.
Yeah.
Well, but doesn't he pardoned himself? And he
I don't
expunged
know.
his own
You
record?
can't do that.
He get it expunged, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the governor of New York can pardon him, but it's because it's a state.
State.
It's a state. Yeah.
Listen. If this election hasn't showed me, and those who have eyes, let them see anything, it shows that the rules, the character, the tradition, none of that matters.
Agree, and that's on Democrat and Republican side.
None of that matters
100%.
when it's convenient. When I was in business school, there was this thing called situational ethics, and I wrestled with that for a long time. But now I truly understand situational ethics. Kelly, your last word, and then we'll let the golden boy, Bill Gobo, who said, it took a whole state to take a seat from me, and it took just one man to take the seat from them.
That's a good way to end right there.
That's
You said that, Kelly. You came up with
Yeah,
that.
Kelly came up with it.
it doesn't matter. The point is still the point. They had the seat, and you would have done a phenomenal job, and I think the rest speaks for it.
Kelly, how do you think they feel? You asked me how I woke up. How do you think the Guilford County Republican Party felt when they woke up, because they had so much invested in that District 3 race?
Well, I think they woke up hating Bill Goebel a lot, and hate is bad, and so it's a wasted emotion. Hate is a wasted emotion.
Amen.
And so figure out how to
Hated
pick
for
up
what? Hating Bill Goebel for what?
Well,
He didn't
there-
win. He didn't win.
No, but he took away 11% of probably a Republican vote. I don't know. There was some Democrat. That's the thing. I mean, it wasn't a Republican or Democratic issue.
They got beat. They got beat.
Exactly.
The
got beat.
Republican Party got beat.
Well, you know something else?
But I think that the Republican Party, they're licking their chops on a local level, but on a national level, I think they're probably pretty happy. On a state level, I mean, North Carolina, I think North Carolina is sitting in a nice place, because I think, although there'll be people that say, well, you still elected Trump, but I think that the governor, Josh Stein, he's going to do a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah.
I think that
You didn't like Robinson? You're not a Robinson fan?
No. In fact, I had to take my social media private, because when we did the podcast last time, I said some mean-spirited things about him, and I got some DMs that were a little.
Did you? Oh,
They
man.
came after you.
I was like, man, you treat me like Bill Goebel.
How does that feel? How does that feel?
I'm just one man with a very tiny voice.
Yeah.
And they said, don't say anything about Mark. huh?
Don't say it. I mean,
I wonder what
I
you
think
say
they should
now.
have done a little bit of research.
Oh, yeah.
If they could go back in time, maybe they would make a few other.
Hey,
a
did
few other decisions.
Jeff Jackson win?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty Jeff Jackson. That commercial. Pretty Jeff Jackson.
But he seems like a very normal, very common sense guy.
Very
Maybe there's hope for common sense, right?
Yeah.
A common ground.
Yeah, or common ground. We have to get the extremes out of politics.
Amen.
The extreme left and the extreme right.
Yep.
Okay,
The
well,
rest of us are in a river right in the middle.
So, Bill, when is the election again for the leadership of the Guilford County Republican Party? How does that work?
I don't know. I
Weren't you a member? Weren't you a card-carrying member who paid money and all that good stuff?
I gave money to Chris Meadows when he ran for mayor.
Chris ran for mayor?
Yeah. Remember he ran unaffiliated? A write-in ballot?
Oh, yeah. Because that's when Justin had us beat. I was working on Nancy Vaughn's campaign at the time, and Justin had us beat. And when Chris came in and threw those 4,000 votes or something, I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe what just happened. And that's how we won.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. You guys had Robbie Perkins on the podcast. Yeah. That was a great podcast.
Robbie's good,
by the way. But I mean, all the
not better than when we have you.
Oh well,
that's true.
I can't compete
or complain.
Just do my best. But the same thing happened to Robbie prior to his election.
Oh, really?
They went out, the local people went after him.
But Robbie's a Republican.
Yeah, but they went after him. I mean, he was a deadbeat dad, all these negative things. And Robbie did so much for this city. I was a big Robbie Perkins fan, and I'm just ecstatic that he's coming back.
Yeah, me too.
And he couldn't be coming back at a better time because this city is really poised for growth. And
he has to be elected first now.
He's got to be elected, but I mean, you'd be silly not to. But
he's got experience.
He has experience. He knows what he's doing. And I mean,
Bill, you had experience. You know what you were doing.
Yeah. But I didn't have a party behind me. And the mayor, the city races are not affiliated. So you don't have to have necessarily a party.
Oh.
So you could have 6 people running for mayor. The top 2 vote getters do a runoff.
Right.
And, it's so he's already.
So you're going to run for mayor then?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. I got people asking me, and I'm not.
No, you belong in the city council.
I don't.
You got.
First off, why would I run against Robbie, who's going to do a great job?
Thank you. I think he's great.
But wait a minute now. Wait a minute. The Republican Party in Guilford County has been known for running against folks who's doing a good job.
Oh yeah, doesn't matter. But I guess if you look at the Guilford County in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party did not win one election, starting with Harris.
Are you saying
they lost Harris?
Whoa.
They lost Harris. I mean, Harris won. You're
talking about down ballot, right?
Yeah, every election in Guilford County went
Guilford County or
Democrat.
Greensboro?
Guilford County.
Yeah. So you saying that the Democrats, which I'm a proud member, I've got a look on Guilford County.
They do.
Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
I saw a picture of the map of the United States, and it basically showed the whole country as red, except for the 2 or 3 major cities in every single state.
Yeah.
Maybe the exception of that being like out west, in the Dakotas and
Montana,
you're right, and places like that. Yep. But if you look at the major states, the states that mean something, the battleground states, the entire state is red with the exception of the state capital, the major city, the major industrial part of that state. And that's it's an interesting dynamic. We won't have any lack of topics for the future. Should I be invited back?
Oh, you will be invited back. Yeah. 2026 coming, baby. 2026 is coming. Mr. Goebel, the last word, sir, since you said the Democratic Party got a lock on Guilford County here. So I'll say to the Democrats, the Republicans, and the independents or the unaffiliated, who's your daddy, baby? Who's your daddy?
The people have spoken. That's my last
word. I just wish that people weren't so had so much allegiance to parties, and it was more on policy. And that to me is the saddest thing, that you can't break for somebody who shares an ideal with you just because of the letter at the end of it.
I voted for a Republican. Yeah. I voted for Steve Troxler.
And didn't you vote for Mark Walker too?
Mark Walker, the Republican Party kicked Mark Walker out of, I'm talking about this last election. Right. They kicked him out of, I mean, man, Bill, y'all will eat your own, man. Y'all kick Wait a minute, Kelly. All my friends, Mark Walker got kicked out of the congressional race. He got kicked out of the governor's race. He got kicked out of the Senate race. Bill Goebel got kicked. What is going on with the Republic? What are you all doing, man? Say it ain't so, Bill. Say it ain't so.
Must be something in the water.
The Piranha Party.
Yeah.
Piranha Party. I'm telling you, we got to figure out this third party thing.
No, check it out though. You lost the seat as being the governor, meaning that at the end of the day, Mark Walker, in my opinion, may have made a better candidate to run against Josh Stein than Mark Robinson. So I just want to say that. Secondly, Bill Goebel, in my opinion, would have been the best person, including the Democrat, to be the person that sits for District 3. So I just want to say that to you, friend.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know that I am personally proud. I was proud to stand there and hand out cards and ask people to vote for my friend, Bill Goebel. And if you did it again, I'd be behind you, beside you again.
Thank you.
So keep your head up high, sir.
I share the same sentiments.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Find Bill and Odell online at thecommonground.show. This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. Darren Sutherland, executive producer. Doug Harding, creative director. Jacob Sutherland, director. Producers Jason Gentarola and Matt Golden. And Jinrei Zhang, video producer. All rights reserved.